Hello and welcome to Iowa Child Care Resource and Referral. My name is Melissa Jewell and I'm the Regional Director for Northwest Iowa, which is Region 1. And thank you for joining us to learn more about the new curriculum development proposal. So why are we making these videos? DHS has started to fund a statewide curriculum specialist. Region 1 does have the contract for this position. And because we've added this position, it's really changed the process about how we've decided what CCR&R is going to select for curriculums that are being either newly written or updated. And then we're also adding new crosswalks to several other statewide initiatives to make sure that our curriculums are really high quality. These videos are going to be able to introduce some big concept changes. So we want to be able to tell everybody across the state around the same time how these big changes are happening and how it might affect them. And then it's going to also offer consistent training, so all 5 regions are going to be able to hear the same thing at the same time, which is also going to then promote statewide consistency in how we are executing our trainings and our services. But I think what I'm most excited about is that these videos are going to provide an opportunity for staff to review as needed. So if you're an existing staff and you want to go back and re-listen to something that you've learned through these videos, you're going to have access to those through our employee website, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. And as we add new staff over time, instead of having to do special trainings for each one of them, they're going to be able to go back and view these videos too. So we're hoping that these videos really are going to help us be more consistent across the state of Iowa. Oops. Sorry, got a little happy there, my clicking. So what is the purpose of the statewide curriculum specialist? That position is to develop new or update curriculum content and the components according to our CCR&R State Network policies and procedures. Again, on our iowaccrnr.org website, we do have our training policies and procedures there, and the curriculum specialist is supposed to be following those and making sure that we are all aligned with that. Right now, the statewide professional development specialist is Monique Ortiz. Again, she works for Region 1 in Northwest Iowa. Right now, for the fiscal 19-20 years, she has been working on ChildNet 3.0, which is a 25-hour series, and then 3 brand new trainings operating the Child Development Home Orientation, which is 2 hours, another one for 2 hours of compliance, and another one of 2 hours of forms. And these are really for the beginning people that are just starting childcare to help them get started on the right track. So what is the process about what trainings we're selecting for our DHS scope of service, and how do we get there? So the Department of Human Services and Region 1 discuss possible curriculum ideas for the next scope and for the next fiscal year. The statewide curriculum specialist is part of that process. She also, in her contract, it says that we have to be able to be tracking and keeping those ideas so we're ready to select new curriculums. So once DHS and Region 1's kind of come up with what we think is reasonable, we take our ideas and discuss them with the whole CCR&R network meeting. That meeting contains all 5 regional directors and DHS. We come to a consensus on what we want the next year's curriculums to be worked on. Then that finalized plan is included in the Region 1 scope, and the statewide curriculum specialist then needs to complete the CCR&R curriculum development proposal, which is what we're going to be talking about here in great detail. Now, I know you cannot read the details of how this form looks, but we're going to go through each one of the boxes individually, and we're going to talk about what she's putting in there and why. We are having her fill out this form, and this form again will also be on the employee page, and I'll show you that a little bit later in the training, so that everybody across the state knows what is being worked on. It's easy to say, Monique is working on this online training, but what does that mean? this plan should give everybody the same idea, and so there's an understanding of what can be expected. Sometimes things cross around the state and there's misconceptions about what's really going on. So if you have any questions about what's being developed, please go to the website and you'll be able to check out these proposals that she's working on. This is the back of the page. Again, I know you can't see it, but we will cover all of these pieces. So the first thing in the proposal is obviously the title of the curriculum. And what's really important is that she selects the target audiences. You'll see there's a variety of ages here, whether it's homes or centers or preschools, and we even have things for parents and families. It's important from the get-go that we know what the audience is that she's writing for. Then the next thing that's important is we understand the competency level. As traditionally, CCR&R creates basic training, so most of our trainings will land in the level 1 progressing professional. But we do have a variety of childcare providers that we work with. So hopefully eventually our goal is that we can offer some curriculums that land in level 2 skilled professional or even level 3 mastery. But for right now, you can expect we'll be focusing on level 1 for a while at least. The next thing that's important to identify, is it a series or is it an individual standalone class? Then she will also tell us the number of modules or the number of lessons and the total credible hours that this new curriculum will include. This section I think is really important as we go forward. One of the major goals of this curriculum development specialist is that we offer trainings online to hopefully meet the needs of some of our rural providers. So this will tell you exactly what type of online or face-to-face training that she is going to be offering. So the first one is a webinar. That is the type of technology we're using right now. It is GoToWebinar. We can have up to 500 people on watching at the same time. It can be a live instructor, but there's not much interaction because there could be up to 500 people on there. People can raise their hand, they can type in comments, they can answer poll questions, things like that, but there's not a lot of participation necessarily all the time from the provider standpoint. The second choice is an online recorded training. So the example of that would be something like Moodle, something that the providers are using with Essentials through Iowa State University Extension. So in that scenario, the instructor has already recorded all of the slides. The provider has to click the next arrow or the next button, and they move that training along. So the training really goes at the pace of the provider, but there is no interaction between the instructor and the provider because the instructor, everything is pre-recorded. The third option is online live. So that's using GoToTraining platform. So unlike GoToWebinar where we can have 500 people, the GoToTraining is really more of an intimate training scenario between a live instructor and a small group of participants. So the maximum number of people that will be on a GoToTraining is 25. So if you think about that on a statewide training, 25 people is not that many. So these classes probably will fill up pretty quickly because we can only have up to 25 people because the technology has to limit that because we're going to have talking back and forth. They're hopefully sharing their cameras and they're seeing each other's interactions. The fourth option is face-to-face, and that again is the live locations. It's what our traditional face-to-face training has been. And then the last choice that she has to select is a hybrid. And this would be a combination of that online live probably and face-to-face. And each one of those hybrids might look a little different. But I know she's been checking into a lot of different options, and the hybrid is really quite an exciting opportunity for us going forward too. So this is really important because over the past 2 years, this has been something that's been the most confusing for people. When we say online, we really probably need to better clarify which of these that refers to. The next thing is the proposal descriptions. So on the content, this is written narrative, identify the topics and the research-based competencies the series or class is centered around. And then the coaching. Are we going to have a coaching component that is applied to this section? In all of our scopes of services, it is outlined that we have to offer coaching that aligns with our core series trainings. So anything that the curriculum development specialist is creating, a coaching component needs to be created with it if it is applicable to the content that is being decided. So this will tell us whether or not coaching will be identified or not. And then the delivery and implementation, again, written into more information about how she plans on rolling that out and for implementation. This is another area that is quite interesting. We are crosswalking all of the curriculums with research-based content area competencies. And for people who've been around CCR&R, it's not new. We've been doing that quite a bit in the past, but we've only really been doing it with a small select number of quality competency areas. This is a very long, extensive list, and we've added different things in here that we've not compared CCR&R training to in the past. So I'm really excited to see some of these new things on the list, and it's going to be very interesting to see how that impacts our trainings going forward. Now, don't think that she's going to cross-reference all of these to each and every training that she's doing. So, for example, as she's working on ChildNet 3.0, which is a training for home providers, she's obviously not going to use the program administrator scale PASS because that is something that is only supposed to be used for centers. So again, she will just be picking out things and cross-referencing things that are appropriate to whatever the competency is that she is writing. Why do we need all of these crosswalks? Well, it will align all of our CCR&R curriculums with the quality initiatives in the state of Iowa and national standards as we need to. And then it also streamlines the content development process. If we use research-based information and competencies, it really helps drive what should be in our different topics because we're not just kind of picking and choosing and guessing, but we can go back to those initiatives and follow the research-based work that is done there. It also reduces our redundancy between curriculums because now we can say, well, this is covered in this one. Does it really need to be covered again in this other one? And it might. It doesn't mean that we're going to get rid of redundancy altogether, but the crosswalks help identify that, and we really can take a look at if it's needed or not. I think one of the most exciting things, though, is it's showing our gaps. And so as we're looking at our goals and our objectives for new trainings and we're cross-referencing these other initiatives, we'll be like, well, what about this? It's not really in the scope of what this curriculum is or what we wanted to accomplish with this curriculum. So then now that goes on the list of here's a gap. Maybe we need to create a future training based on this. So I'm really excited about the gaps that we found as we've been crosswalking just the last couple years. The crosswalks also give the instructors and the consultants the ability to freshen up on the content competencies. So as we're going to be cross-referencing a different competency, we'll have to say to the consultants and the instructors, okay, for this curriculum, the competency over here talks about this. So it keeps making sure that we go back to those competencies and it stays fresh in our skill set. And then also it allows the consultants and the instructor the ability to support through coaching and technical assistance concepts that are being trained in the classroom. It also helps them when we're doing our coaching and in the classroom. So we're very excited to have these crosswalks, and it's really going to be driving our future of where we're going. The next piece is very important also in this process, and it's work group participants. So The work group participants are individuals who have been selected by the regional directors. They are selected because we want them to contribute in various components of the curriculum building process. So their role will include, but not limited to, curriculum content, coaching, formatting, proofing, online implementation, and PowerPoint development. And then they also can help with the suggestions that may be required to fill in necessary gaps. So when we are going to the regional directors and we're saying, okay, this is the curriculum we're working on, this is the target audience, this is what we want to accomplish, these are the types of people we think we need in the work groups. The regional directors may or may not go back to the regions and talk to them first. They might just nominate them, but we really need to have the work group participants be engaged, be knowledgeable, and be excited for the program, whatever that we're working on, because we expect the work group participants that once this curriculum is done to go back to your region, promote it within your own region, and get everybody excited in your region to implement it. So if you're interested in that type of work, please make sure that you talk to your regional director. So, timeline considerations. People are like, why is this new curriculum taking so long to come out? You would think that it would come out pretty fast. This is just a portion of the list of things that slow down the proposal process. So how long does it take us to get the right work group put together, creating the rough draft of the curriculum content, piloting that curriculum, getting a rough draft of a coaching process if it's applicable, then the final draft of the curriculum and the coaching, and building the PowerPoints on there. Then we have to build and create and print the participant manual and instructor manuals. Then we have to plan train the trainer events, train the coaching events, and then we have to have the actual implementation of face-to-face and online. So there's a lot in that process. There's a lot of products being done. There's all the crosswalks happening. So it takes time. It also takes time to just get the work group on the same vision and moving forward. So that is why it does take us time to get the curriculums processed. Now, I promised you at the beginning that that form that we had filled out, you would be able to see those project outlines. So if you go to the iowaccrnr.org webpage and click on the employees page, you'll have to log in with a password. You will see underneath universal resources and tools, if you click down that, there is a long list under there of resources. It says at the very bottom, it says statewide project outlines. So at the time that I'm making this video, these are all of the statewide project outlines that are out there. So these outlines come not only from the statewide curriculum specialist, but it's also the statewide communication specialist. So you'll see the curriculum specialist has ChildNet 3.0 out there, and the operations of a child development home webinars, performs orientations and self-assessments. So at any time, you can go out and see the details of all of these plans. You can see who's on work groups and all of the details. And I really encourage you, as we're building new curriculums and you're hearing conversations about this and that, and you're not really understanding everything, you might want to start with looking at the project outlines to see what's supposed to be included in there. This is the completed ChildNet form. Again, don't expect you to be able to read it, but just want to let you know that it is filled out and out there. Hopefully on this one you can kind of see that you'll see there's quite a few people on the team that's made up of the work group participants. Okay, so future videos. We are going to continue and have more of these. I know for the ChildNet 3.0, we're going to have several shorter videos coming out with clarifications to help people understand the new changes that are coming with the ChildNet 3.0 and to start training staff before it actually gets released. There has been talk about the QRS specialist also doing something similar when the IQ4 trainings come out. And I'm sure as other initiatives come out, we will be also looking at using videos like this to train people across the state. If this video caused you to have any questions, please direct them to your regional director or your supervisor. They will get any questions that they can't answer to me. We'll come up with an answer. And if there is something that comes up, we will send it out statewide so that everybody gets the same answer. And I would just like to take time today to thank you for your time and attention. And you have a good day.